Carnifex is a 2022 Australian creature horror flick directed by Sean Laheef and written by Shanti Gujian. The film follows a trio consisting of two conservationists played by Sizey Stringer and Harry Greenwood, along with a journalist played by Alexandra Park. They're out in the, outback to record animals displaced by wildfires. However, there's something they're not expecting. A prehistoric creature long thought extinct. It's out there, it's hungry. Can the trio survive against the Carnifex? Yeah, I don't know why I keep doing Australian films as of late. I swear I'm not going out of my way to find them. I just keep tripping across them. Well, Rogue still stands as the best so far, so let's see if this creature feature can dislodge the king. This is Carnifex.
Kind of what?
The movie wastes no time in warming up as we're shown footage of forest fire. It quickly cools off, introducing us to our characters, conservationist Ben and Grace, along with journalist Bailey. They're okay. Ranger Matt here, played by Darren Gilshanan, has some real character though.
Yeah, you don't be a smart ass about it.
Sadly, we won't be seeing much of him as we head off to the zone. Not that zone. Time to build some character. Like, what are Ben's life goals?
To be that I discover a species that's never been seen before and it gets named after me.
Well, I'll have some later problems with the film. It's nice to know that filming took place on location in multiple parts of South Australia. Also, if you brought a rifle, we could use those cameras to hunt Bigfoot. Is that an outdated joke? Do big feet still eat babies? Setting up camp for the night, we follow the, poacher, Gary, played by Brendan Rock. His dog goes investigating something, and at sounds of its whimper, he loads 2 rounds and heads out, before his head, heads out. Also, the movie has a strange obsession with showing ants. Not really sure why, but it's there. Well, back at camp, we learn Bailey is growing to like Ben, and that her brother was a brave firefighter. Emphasis on was. Heading out to collect cameras, we see that Ben brought along plenty of tools for the job, and I do agree that if you pay for them, you might as well use them. They do find some interesting camouflage fur, complete with broken branches, and they have a drone. Well, checking the camera reveals something. They aren't sure what, but they believe it's a feral animal capable of taking down a kangaroo. We sort of saw that earlier in the film, but we have yet to actually see the titular character. At over halfway into the film, I won't lie, it's been pretty boring. The only cure for that is to call in a ranger Matt to hunt the beast. Eventually, as even though he finds the poacher's truck, we need Ben to title drop the creature.
In ancient Rome, the public executioner was called the Carnifex.
More or less accurate. The Carnifex also handled torture. To make sure the bots don't strike this video, let me add that they claim the beast may be a genetic offshoot of the original creature, especially since the claw marks they have found have evidence of 2 thumbs. Also, Ranger Matt, he isn't going to be saving any more picnic baskets. Back at the camp, they discover something in the woods, and wanting to find out if it's a Carnifex, Ben goes off in pursuit with Grace following, until she falls in some sort of pit. Little fun fact, but Ben's sister just had a child, making him an uncle. What happens to Uncle Ben's?
When we get out of here, we should...
The beast seems intent on giving Grace a poke, but Bailey has found the poacher's truck as well as his dog, so one hornbeep unintentionally tears it away. Also, this thing either moves really fast, evolved to have slasher villain powers, or there's actually multiple. It appears in one location, and then the next within a camera cut. Oh, and Ben isn't dead. No, for some random reason wants to play with him. At least we get our first good look. Poor CGI aside, the design isn't completely off from what we theorized it looked like. However, the depictions I've found make it appear more cat-like, where in the scenes we see of it, the beast moves almost like a sloth. Also, it appears they depicted holding Ben still with its claws, while tearing him with teeth. Theories I've found suggest it was actually the opposite. Well, he's dead. Meanwhile, Grace and Bailey reunite. But what about Ben? Well, with no means of self-defense, they run off into the woods blindly looking for Ben. Hey, at least they find the poacher and his rifle. One problem. Or two solutions depending on your point of view. Well, fuck Ben, it's time to go! And they go, until some sort of problem on the road. It's a bit dark and hard to tell, but I think something was in the path, and due to the soil they couldn't drive over it. I don't know, but winch that bad boy up and show some real girl power.
Gently!
Ladies, we only have like 3 minutes of movie left. How did you manage to fuck it up that bad? Well, with one bullet left, Grace makes a stand. You dumb bitch. I will put a picture of you next to the picture of the dumb broad from Green Inferno for the list of dumb bitches in cinema. For some fucking reason, this makes the beast reconsider. Goose the dog survived, and that's all I care about. Oh, and they thank some fuckers for being the traditional owners. I suppose traditional, after they bashed in some other fucker's head, but whatever, details. That was Carnifex. I couldn't find a budget, however the film had a total box office of just over $15K in what I believe was USD. The film would premiere at the Stiges Film Festival in Spain, October 6th, 2022, while it would release in its home country of Australia December 1st of that same year. The final release would be in Sweden January 26th, 2024. Carnifex was a title used worldwide, save for Russia, which added the subtitle Fight for Survival. One thing of note is that I recently reviewed Rogue, and even mentioned it for this review. The director, Sean Lahif, worked as an editor on the film. Wolf Creek 2, as did Carnifex producer Helen Leake. Wolf Creek 2 and Rogue sharing the same director, Greg McLean. So Carnifex is a movie that is in a way praise and criticism. It has a beginning and end that at least makes sense. Sort of. The journey between the two is severely lacking. The film is basically a walk through the Australian forest with drops of animal fun facts until the last 20 minutes. The small bits of action we do see is all off-screen, with nothing really added or worth noting. I suppose the creature is okay, but it's nothing special. Especially since the lackluster CGI is just that. Lackluster. The characters were okay, but didn't really have much to remember them by. There was an attempt to have characterization, but nothing stuck. The Ranger, who is listed as a cameo on IMDb, though I disagree with that labeling, was more enjoyable and had more character through his handful of scenes. I'd rather watch Bait 5 times over than watch this film again. It just wasn't a good movie. There's so much better films to watch. Hell, there's much worse films that are more enjoyable to watch. Really, just do yourself a favor and avoid this one. Don't worry, come October, I'll have plenty of great gems to show off, including some exploitation. Till then, toss this one into the bushfire.
What else we fucking do?